All right, good Friday morning. Today's Friday, November 17th, 2023, and this is your Friday safety meeting. My name is Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department. We're located in the Z building, center of the room, right next to the pillars on the ground level. So if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to stop by. We don't ever promise we have all of the answers to all the questions that you have, but we do promise that somebody in the building can help you out. We do this 52 Fridays a year. Next week, we got the Black Friday edition. It'll be probably just me and John and about three of our closest friends for that one. But that's okay. We'll still be doing it. We'll still be pressing forward. We'll still be serving free breakfast. So let's give John Blanchett and his crew at each of our locations a round of applause for feeding all us hungry trucking professionals. And, so we're not going to go to the other places right away. We'll start right here. Good morning. This is Dave White. He works in the safety department. What's going on?
Good morning, Dennis. Yes, there'll be probably you and John next week. I'm going to take next Friday off, I think, and let you guys hold the fort down. Just keep control of it. That's all I ask.
I think that we can do it. So this is the last Friday morning meeting before Thanksgiving. So I want to wish everybody a happy early Thanksgiving. Hopefully you have the opportunity to have good food and good company. Thanksgiving is my absolute favorite holiday because of the food and the fellowships. So for those folks that are going home, make sure you do everything the right way. And we'll have a couple fleet managers here, and we'll have Security Bill up here to talk about properly securing equipment when either going home or passing through the house. But for those that are not going home, that'll be out running over the holiday, we want to say thank you for what you do. While we are placing these big orders, going to the grocery stores, getting things to feed our family gatherings, it's you truck drivers, it's you trucking professionals that bring those products to the stores so that we can just spend. So we appreciate what you do. We want you to be as safe as you possibly can. I took a look at the weather. We don't anticipate any inclement weather over this Thanksgiving holiday weekend, but of course that can change in an instant. So be safe. Thank you for what you do. And what else you got?
Especially out west there, up in those mountains, weather changes real quick. So be prepared. You never know what's going to go on out there. But no, I just want to say good morning to everybody, and thank you for what you do. And I know we got kind of a light crowd this morning. Hopefully that's translating into more trucks out on the road before the holiday, delivering more freight, satisfying our customers, taking care of them as well. So, but yeah, thank you for what you do. And especially those of you that aren't here and are out running, maybe listening to us on the social media aspect. Hey, thank you. We appreciate everything you do. You've got the hardest job in this business. Dennis and I, we're pretty lucky. We don't have to back a truck into the dock. And matter of fact, you probably wouldn't want to see us back a truck into the dock. So there's a reason why we're inside. But no, thank you for doing what you do. And once again, have a good Turkey Day, Turkey weekend. If you're off, if you're running, thank you for doing that too as well. But just be safe. Be aware of all the traffic out there and all the different conditions. So
Dave mentioned it. We are live here in Springfield, Missouri, and we're live across the social. So welcome to our folks that are listening and watching in on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And we are simulcasting live at our other locations, Salt Lake City and Pittston, Pennsylvania. So let's go east first. I think we got, what do we got? Richard Brock in Pittston, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning.
You got a pretty decent crowd there for the Friday before holiday.
Yeah, we're all in here having good breakfast, and everybody's kind of getting settled in. We still got people coming through line. Couple things to talk about this morning from Pittston here. We want to talk about a little about the holidays that are coming up. You guys kind of mentioned that. With that being said, just a reminder to everyone, if you got an empty trailer, please make sure you get with your dispatcher or lineup, and they can tell you where you can drop that trailer on your way in here. We'll have plenty of trailers to take out of here, so you won't be going far to get those. Secondly, weather. We're going to see some 20s this week, so possible chance for some freezing up here in the Northeast, and I would keep an eye on that. As far as maintenance and updates around the terminals, we still have the bunk rooms getting updated, and those are coming along real nicely, so that's going on. But we also have the Christmas party coming up. I know you guys are probably going to talk about that, and we're real excited about our party coming up on the 1st. So if you're planning on going to the Christmas party here in Pittston, please make sure you RSVP for that. If you see the flyers around, you can use the QR code and you can RSVP for it that way as well. And yeah, everything else is going really great up here.
You know, you guys are kicking off the holiday party schedule right there. December 1st. Well, that means you're batting lead off, so that means you got to get it right. So high expectations for you folks out in Pittston. You know, one of the great things I love about this company, we work extremely hard here, but we also party extremely hard. So we're really looking forward to that party out there, Richard. So as always, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to step to the microphone.
Thanks a lot, Dennis.
All right. So I think we're solo Aaron Ward out west this week. Good morning, Aaron. How you doing?
Good morning.
Hey,
Actually,
you're not by yourself. Who's there with you?
I'm not. I pulled Tyler in this morning. So I do have my partner here with me. Everything's going great out in Salt Lake right now. We did have a storm come through. It was just rain in the valley, but it was some snow up in the mountains. So as you mentioned, it's that time of year and need to be prepared. Have chains on the truck and have some extra gear and all those things you need for inclement weather.
Yeah, just another thing I'd like to notate. My name is Tyler Patrick, and, you know, as we kind of approach into the holiday week next week, one thing Doug touched on next week, our Road Assist team is trying to stay away from those outside shops. You know, as we start seeing people taking time off and with our own network, people going home, wanting to spend time with family, same thing happens with these outside shop networks. Technicians want to go home. Technicians will be spending time with their family as well as every other truck is going into the shop at that time. They're thinking, hey, I'll be at home this week. I'll have some time to get my truck fixed. Those shops are going to have limited personnel, limited hours. They may even be closed through the holidays. You know, some place that doesn't close down and some place that doesn't send a lot of people home is that's going to be our technicians. You know, we're here to support you guys and everything we can do while you're out there on the road. So, you know, we have a lot of shop opportunities right now, a lot of capacity within our truck shop. So work with your maintenance advisor, work with your dispatchers, and try and save those elective repairs for after the holiday time. The last thing we want to see is you go in for something not necessary, and then we end up having a truck down scenario for a week or so prior to the holidays or coming out of the holidays, not being able to leave the house whenever they're ready. So something to just be mindful of as we spend that time at home with our families and things like that, making sure we're being smart about, you know, elective repairs and things of that nature, making sure we're ready to get up and rolling as soon as the holidays are over.
Fantastic information, and we'll have Trent Ferris from our maintenance department up here a little bit later to kind of elaborate on exactly what Tyler Patrick just explained to us. So happy Thanksgiving to you folks out west in Salt Lake City. Hopefully your holiday season is fantastic and safe. And today, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to step to the microphone.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right back here, Springfield, Missouri. Good morning to you fine folks. Small in number, but mighty in spirit. I love to see it. You know, this is typically a Friday where the available percentage is pretty high, so we don't typically see a lot of folks here at the terminal for this Friday morning meeting, but that's okay. I love it. That means we're just a small, intimate family. That means we can talk about some things. Fantastic. So.
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt you, man. You're on a roll there.
Go ahead. What
Hey, no, what I'd like to do, Dennis, all of our new folks, if you're new to orientation this week, this is your first week, A seat, B seat, C seat, D seat. If you could all stand at all three terminals, we'd love to give you a round of applause. Stand on up. You got a pretty good group of new folks.
We got a good group of
associates.
new
That's
folks,
great.
and we want to say especially thank you for coming on this week in particular. You know, you committed to being out over the holiday weekend, committed to learning the craft and learning it the right way. You guys had options on what company you want to choose to start your trucking career, and we're so appreciative that you chose us. You know, I'm sure you did a ton of homework and you looked at a number of different companies. You know, we did the same thing. We get a ton of folks applying for Prime every single week, and you know, we take just a select few of the best, and you guys made that cut, and we appreciate you guys coming through at all of the locations.
Yeah, no doubt. And I know you've had to go through orientation, and that's not all fun. You know, you've done your check on us, like Dennis said. We've done our checks and backgrounds on you. But then you got orientation, so you got to go through physicals, drug tests, and all that. And remember, that's just part of the business. So when you're out there on the road driving, you know, at any time you can get pulled for a random DOT drug test, alcohol test, whatever it may be. So remember, when we're out there, you know, stay away from all types of substances like that that could cause you trouble. Also, physicals, man, take care of yourself. We're going to have Colby up here in a minute, driver health and fitness. He's going to talk to us about that. And we've got avenues to help our drivers out. And that's what it's about right there, staying healthy and, you know, being able to pass those DOT physicals and drug tests and just doing the right thing out there on the road. So, but thank you. Thank you for coming in this week. You're starting a great time of the year, man, going out with a trainer, right? You know, right in the late fall, you know, get some winter driving experience, and that's what you want right there. So that's the best way to learn is out on the road, dealing with our customers, our shippers, receivers, sometimes enforcement too as well, and that's okay. You know, I mean, first time you go through an inspection, hopefully you got a trainer with you, so he or she can guide you through that and tell you what to expect. And then next time, if you're on your own, you're ready to do it, man. You're ready to knock it out of the ballpark and get that clean inspection. So
let's talk about inspections. And, you know, normally we would have Rick Ifford up at our Pittston terminal, but we drug him down to Springfield, Missouri this week. So come on up, Rick. Well, we try to get Rick down here about once a quarter to, you know, kind of hang out with the guys and girls and be a part of the safety team here as well. So before you jump into the inspections, tell us about your trip this time. Are you tired of us yet?
You know, I'm never tired of coming down here. It's always nice to come down and sit with my safety peeps and just mingle and have a good time. And so, yeah, I enjoy coming down here, Dennis.
All right. So anytime you do come down, we dump those inspections on your desk so fast you can't even imagine. So tell us what you saw this week.
You know, 138 total inspections, 90 of those were clean. So a 65% rate this week. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. That's awesome. Yeah, fantastic. Usually right around 65% every week. National average is about half, we're about half a national average. So we do an awesome job of inspections every week. What I've seen, seatbelts is still an issue for us. We need to make sure that we're wearing our seatbelts, Dennis. It's a federal regulation, so please make sure that you're wearing them properly, over your shoulder and tight to your chest. Got anything?
Go for it.
Next, speeding. We're still dealing with speeding issues, and it's not out on the interstate. It's on those side roads where those speed limits go down gradually, and we're getting hit with speed. So make sure that you're watching your signs and cell phones. We need to make sure that we're putting those cell phones down and just put them in a holder and leave them there. You don't need them in your head and your hand. All it takes is just to have that in your hand, and you're going to get stopped, pulled over for it. So please put those things in a holder and leave them alone.
You know, we sometimes sound like a broken record. You know, seatbelts, cell phones. You know, these are things that we get these violations every single week. And to me, this is low hanging fruit. This is easy. You might get caught speeding. You know, and I'm not advocating for that, and I'm not telling you to speed. But, you know, clicking your seatbelt and wearing it properly, you should never get written up for that. And in addition, that cell phone, you know, anytime I get in front of a group of driving professionals or even novices, whether you're 16 years old and you just got your license or whether you're a 2 million mile driver, I'm going to tell you, hey, it's so important that I call it the Magic Johnson driving. You know, there's nobody so good at driving a vehicle that they can do it without looking. All right. You just can't do it. Put the phone down, put the iPad down, put the GPS down, put the Qualcomm down. It's not that important. Whatever message you're looking, whatever communication you're trying to negotiate at that time is just not that important. You can wait until you're stopped for fuel, stop for restroom break at a shipper or receiver, whatever the case may be, to communicate with mom, dad, husband, wife, son, daughter, fleet manager, whoever it may be.
Yeah, you know, Dennis, we have to take breaks. So, and that is the best time to do that stuff is make sure that when you're stopping for your breaks, that you take care of all that stuff. You know, it's so important. It's going to get you in trouble every time.
All right. So, Rick, we appreciate it. You as always. Thank you for coming. We'll probably get you here at the beginning of the year sometime, and we'll welcome you back. We got a question?
Just a heads up. I don't know if you got the article or not. North Carolina is doing those AI things by the way stations. And if a driver has a cell phone in their hand, they're getting a ticket.
Appreciate that, Chad. All right. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
A lot of good information there, man. What else we got?
Hey, let's talk about what we saw from a safety standpoint this week.
Well, a couple things to keep in mind, before we jump into that. We're talking about holiday coming up. Some of you may want to take passengers with you. Remember, if you're going to have a passenger on your truck, you need to get a passenger permit from your fleet manager. Make sure you have a permit saying it's okay for that person to be on your truck. You go through a scale, enforcement sees you, or an officer just pulls you over on the road because you got somebody up in the bunk. May look like a younger kid or something you may be having on your truck. If they stop, you got to have that passenger permit. If you don't, you get written up on an inspection, and that goes against you too as well. So not only that, Dennis, that passenger needs to be seat belted in as well. So they need to be wearing their seat belt. If they're in the passenger seat, if they're in the bunk, they need to be strapped in the netting. Because if you need to hard brake that truck, you need to brake for a motorist out there in front of you. That passenger, we don't want people flying across inside the cab because that's how people get hurt real quick. So, make sure they're belted in, they're legal. If they're not belted in the jump seat next to you, you can get written up for that too as well. That's a violation. So even though that person doesn't have a CDL, they're going to put it on you as a driver. So all those go against us and go against our drivers as well. So just make sure, do the right thing. Make sure you got that passenger permit.
All right. So, it's animal season too. So how many hunters do we have out here?
Anybody like deer hunt?
We see a few hands out here. You guys, while you guys are shooting at these poor defenseless animals, they're running out in front of trucks now. So
I think we need to shoot a few more, and that's what we got John Harden doing this morning in our safety department. Johnny's out there hunting as we talk. Hopefully you can take out a couple more so we don't hit them. But we've had 62 deer hits already since November 1st. Just been a couple weeks in, and we got 62, and they're still running. So remember, deer jumps out in front of you, do the right thing, just hit it. Don't hard brake, don't swerve, don't run off the road trying to avoid it. Many times we've talked to drivers before, and I've had this happen just in my car. Deer jump out in front of you, you go to the side, decides to turn the other way and come back onto the shoulder, and you end up hitting it anyway. So, those type of situations, just stay in your lane. If you can, slow down a little bit. If you see them running way out in front of you, you may want to slow down a little bit more, because usually you see a couple doe out there going, there's going to be a buck following. He's going to want to go after those ladies. So, be aware of that and just slow down and be aware of the deer, and try not to get you too spooked. But if they jump out, just take them out. We'll deal with the damage on the truck, and we just don't want our customers' freight getting damaged, or you running off the road and having a bigger accident. Then we got more problems. So. What else you got, brother?
So I'm trying to pull up the little flyer here that tells me the dates of the Christmas party. So, Richard talked about Friday, December 1st being Pittston, Friday, December 15th. That's going to be Salt Lake City, and then the 29th here in Springfield. So if you're interested in attending one of these Christmas parties, please make sure that you're communicating with your fleet manager. Also, be sure to RSVP so we can make sure that we got the proper amount of food and space available. The other thing is, we have open bars at these parties. So if you're one that likes to enjoy a spirit during a holiday party, we're perfectly fine with that. We encourage it. But what do we encourage you to do as far as getting behind the wheel, Dave?
Do not get behind the wheel for 24 hours after you've been drinking. So stay away from driving, taking a load out. Your last drink, wait 24 hours and go. And we don't want anybody getting in trouble. Same thing, just bobtailing around town. If you're over here at the Oasis, or you're up in Pittston or Salt Lake, don't take your truck out on the road after you've been drinking, because we don't want that to hit your license, and don't want to hit ours as well. So it's not good idea. So hey, just park it, stay parked.
We'll talk about one last thing as it pertains to alcohol. For those that like to give those nice, expensive gifts, bottles of wine or maybe rare whiskey. Those are fantastic gifts to give to people. The only thing is, you cannot, even if it's sealed, closed, packaged, put away, you cannot have any alcohol in the cab of your truck. So if you've purchased that gift, you're going to have to ship it to wherever it needs to go, or ship it home. You cannot, under any circumstances, sealed, unsealed, not drinking it, whatever the case may be, you cannot have it in the cab of your truck. So please Don't risk your career by trying to get your wife that fancy bottle of wine coming out of California.
And just be responsible when you're out there. We're all adults, and that's how Robert treats us, Robert Lowe, our owner. And that's why we have alcohol at our events. You know, we're all adults. We're all responsible. You're a professional driver. You got a CDL. You're held to higher standards. Just remember, you know, hey, if you want to have a good time, that's great. So does Dennis and I. We like to do that too ourselves, but we don't get behind the wheel and do that. So, and like Dennis said, any alcohol inside the truck's a big no-no. If they catch you, they'll write you up on an inspection. So,
All right. So do we have any questions as it pertains to anything we talked about safety-wise this morning? All right. So let's keep it rolling. We've got some great speakers today. So I talked about this being my favorite time of year because I like a ton of different types of foods. I like to cook. You know, I'm excited about, you know, different ways that we're going to prepare turkey and ham.
are you smoking one this year?
I am smoking 2 this year.
2 turkeys and a ham?
And a ham. So
I'll make them over to your house.
So you're invited, but I'll be seriously busy this week. But you know, for folks that maybe have high blood pressure, diabetes, boy, this is a tough time of year. You know, you got to keep that diet in control. So we're going to ask Kobe Hughes to come on up and maybe talk about a little, you know, moderation during this holiday season.
Nah, wait.
You know, those
Not me, you know that.
big time salty foods. And so
You can hang out with me. Rachel's not here today.
oh, well, I'll stand over in the corner. You know, that's
No,
some
I'm
tough
glad you,
questions.
thanks for having me up here. So my name's Colby, the driver health and fitness. We try to get in front of you guys weekly or every so often, kind of tell you guys we're a resource for you. And in all 3 locations, we have our personal trainers there. But really, then, as Dennis brings up this week, what Rachel and I were going to talk about and we want to talk about was just we're going to try to add like a health tip every time we're on here and try to do it every week and real quick. But, you know, we do talk about it on our podcast. We do have our Prime Ways podcast, but also our Healthier Highway podcast where we add different things and some insight. But what I want to bring up today was getting with Dennis's point, which we're getting ready to get into holidays and eating and things like that. But this one is just getting active after we eat. So Rachel talks about it quite a bit, but the importance of getting active, meaning literally just walking, just get up and walk or do some exercise 5 to 10 minutes after you eat, after a meal. Obviously, the bigger the meal, maybe the longer the activity, but it doesn't have to be extensive. We're not talking like a heavy workout, but just walking. And so I just had a couple benefits I was going to tell you about why. So just getting active after we eat, some benefits would it help improve digestion, which obviously that'd be helpful, just kind of moving food along. Decreasing blood glucose or blood glucose spikes. It can actually just getting active after your meal, walking can decrease your glucose spike by 30%. So if we have diabetes, pre-diabetes, things like that, any kind of blood glucose spikes that can help with. Helps increase, it will help with your weight control. So actually decreasing your weight or helping with weight control. Decreasing any bloated feelings, but then also help combat a feeling of fatigue, which I know what you're talking about. After I eat on a big meal, I want to go to sleep. So these are just some ways to help increase any kind of benefits of activity after we eat. So that's what I got this morning. Anybody got any questions for me right now? Obviously, with Driver Health and Fitness, we're here to help with a lot of things, anything you're going through, anything we can help with. But again, this is one, we're going to try it every week. If you guys have something you want to share with us, you can get on our website, driverhealthandfitness.com. Say, hey, we'd love if you would talk about this on our podcast or here on our safety meeting. So we'll have different people up from our department talking about it. But so get active after we eat. That's what I got. Anybody? Questions? Nothing?
All right. Thanks, Kobe.
You bet. Here to help any way we can.
Man,
Good info right there, man.
are you
We're going to need it, you and me.
So, Dave, on Thursday after you eat that big meal,
Time to go for a walk.
you gonna get active? You walk around the
You're gonna have to.
neighborhood?
Yes, right.
All right, well, good. I'm gonna text you.
Okay. Feel free. I'll text you too.
I might be asleep.
I'll wake you up. I'll call you. No, you probably turn your phone off, wouldn't you?
Oh man, so
Hey, before I forget, we got some changes coming up with the CDL testing.
sure.
And we got Stan Casterkey up in Pittston, and I think he wanted a few minutes. So let's get Stan up here and he can discuss some of those changes. So Stan, you with us?
Hey, I am. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you guys. I'll be back there hopefully this evening. Hey, so what's cool about our driver training program here? I'm up here in Pennsylvania. I work in the driver training area back in Springfield. I just had a gentleman catch me in the hallway here this morning that about 10 years ago said, you did my interview, and I used to work over in the orientation office. I did interviews. He's been here 10 years. Thank you for all of you who have chosen Prime to be here to learn how to be a professional truck driver. And for those of you who have been here for a long time, thank you for what you do. I appreciate you all. So let's talk about CDL testing standards. So in Missouri, December the 4th is going to be our new standards. We're going to what they call the modernized standards. Now, here in Pennsylvania, we're already on the modernized standards. So for those of you in Missouri who are planning on training in Missouri, every day at 2 o'clock in the Plaza building, we're having a class. We're talking about how the new backing maneuvers work. We're talking about how the pre-trip, the vehicle inspection is going to change a little bit. So be sure and attend those classes at 2 o'clock if you're an instructor. Right now, we just want to get through the certified instructors to get them done. If you're someone who's considered it and you have at least 2 years of professional commercial driving experience, you've had your CDL for at least 2 years, we want you to participate in our driver training program on the PSD side, and then you can transition through that into that TNT phase as well. But I appreciate the minute here. Any questions for me? My direct line is 417-521-3299. And I know we record this. So if you need to go back and get that later on, you can do that. But I'm up here in Pennsylvania. Anybody has any questions, I'll stick around after the meeting so we can discuss it. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Stan, I got one. Let's say I do my pre-trip on December 3rd, and then I have to go drive on December 5th to finish out my CDL. Can I still use that pre-trip I did before December 4th for that drive?
Dave, thank you. You do an awesome job, man. The answer is no. So if you don't pass the CDL exam on the old standard, so our last day that we're going to actually test on the old standard, and it's kind of the finishing up if someone didn't pass the backing or the drive part, the 1st of December will be our very last day that we're going to be allowed to test on the old standard. On Saturday and Sunday, the 2nd and 3rd in Missouri, we will not be allowed to test at all because Department of Revenue, who controls our licensing in Missouri, is going to be transitioning to the new C-STEMS system. So on the 4th, we're going to be testing on the new standard. So long answer to a short question. Yeah, if you don't pass it by the 1st of December, we'll have to start that process all over again. So we want to try to get everyone through the old process before we start on the new one.
Now, when are those dates again for Pennsylvania and Utah? They're going to be switching over?
Well, actually, here in Pennsylvania, the 28th of August is when we started on the new standard here. So they're already in it here. Utah, I talked to the CDL coordinator in Utah here, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So they're going to start it in Utah in January and February. That's an awesome time to be putting paint on the ground, trying to do that. We actually are, working on getting the new carousel, one new carousel down here pretty quick, so the paint will stick to the ground. But Pennsylvania is already doing it now. We have 8 of the new carousels in Missouri, and then we'll have kind of going through that transition. We'll get there, but it's a little bit painful right now to just get through this process.
All right, that's it for me, Stan. I think you're good. Appreciate it. Appreciate your info.
Thanks, Dave. See y'all later. Thank you.
All right, appreciate you, Stan. Let's give him a round of applause. Really the theme that we have every week in these meetings is to give you some safety, give you definitely some help tips, and give you some maintenance to kind of, equal out that triangle. These are all equally important as it pertains to the overall safety of what's going on the road. So this week we're going to bring up Kaylee Elder from our accident claims department. A lot of times when we find ourselves in an accident, one of the things that drivers comment to us, I've never been in an accident. I don't know what to do. So one, even though you haven't been in an accident, it's important that you still know what to do in these situations. And the fact that you don't know, that means we haven't done our job in properly training you on exactly what you need to do. So we brought Kaylee Elder here, and she's going to talk a little bit about what to do in case of an accident. So,
good morning. So, as everybody knows, our department is the least favorite here at Prime. Nobody wants to talk to us, but we're always here to help you. Some tips that we would like for you to do if you are ever involved in an accident. First of all, always get out, check if you can, make sure everybody's okay as a first go-to. You guys are our eyes and ears out there. We can only see what you send us. So if we don't get anything from you guys, pictures, anything to document it, we're kind of at a loss. We're going off of Google Maps, looking at something, trying to guess at what happened. So we would ask that you guys always there's never too many photos. Take pictures of the scene, kind of step back, take pictures of damages. Another thing we've been running into is if you guys don't have damage to your truck or trailer, we don't get pictures of that. You only get pictures of the other vehicle. The problem with that is we're running into, if these people are injured, they go out, they get an attorney. The attorney wants pictures or he wants to inspect the equipment. Obviously, taking pictures up front, being able to give them those, it's much easier for everybody than if we just have those. So just take pictures. Can't take too many. So another thing is if there's any witnesses at the scene, any information you guys can get before the officers arrive, it's valuable information that we can use moving forward. There's nothing that you can get that is not helpful. We are here. There's a team of 4 of us. I primarily handle injury claims only. My other 3 coworkers, Kevin, Ruthie, and Stacy, they handle the property damage only. We're all here to assist you guys. If you ever have an accident, you have questions, you don't understand something, we're always here. You guys can call us and ask us a question. There's no question that we won't answer for you. If we don't know the answer, we'll find somebody that does know the answer.
I got a question.
What's your question?
Anytime I get an accident claims person here, I always want them to talk about our process of charging deductibles.
Yep.
So kind of talk through the process of, accident happens, whether it's our driver's fault or not, if there's some ambiguity, how we charge the deductible.
Okay. So for you, and I don't know how many of you, hopefully all of you know what your deductibles are. I know you guys get filled with a lot of information when you come on and it's kind of hard to remember a lot of it. If you cause damage to somebody else's property, person, anything, you will automatically have a $500 liability deductible that will be charged to you. If you're in an accident and it's questionable, we get a lot of the lane change accidents where they came into my lane, the other vehicle says you came into their lane. We code those as an undetermined accident until we investigate those further. And while we're investigating it, we do charge that deductible. If it's determined that you are not at fault for the accident, we will refund that back to you. We don't keep that. You've got a truck and a trailer deductible as well. If you cause damage to your truck, you have a $1,000 deductible and your trailer is $500. There is a cargo deductible, but that's a cargo. I don't know what their deductibles are, how they figure them. But if you ever have a question, if you get charged for one, give us a call. We'll be happy to explain it to you. If it's not your fault and it's a clear you're not at fault, you will not be charged a deductible. We have a department called subrogation. They actually will handle helping you go after the party that's at fault to collect for your damages as well as downtime, any expenses you incurred because of the damage.
So if you are charged a deductible, of course, you'll get an automated message over the
Correct.
Qualcomm, and doesn't necessarily mean that we found you at fault, and I know this isn't Cammie's purview. She talked about the subrogation part. If for some reason somebody does some damage to your equipment, and 1, we don't know who it was,
Right.
or 2, they didn't have insurance, that deductible is going to hit. That doesn't mean you're at fault. It just means somebody's got to pay for it, and it's, and the way that I always explain it is it's no different than you do with your personal vehicle. If you go to Walmart today and you come back out and somebody's pulled in and scraped the whole side of your driver's side and left, unfortunately, the owner of that car or the insured person of that car is going to be responsible for the deductible.
So the good rule of thumb is if we cannot collect from somebody, your truck or trailer deductible would apply to you, unfortunately. So a hit and run, like Dennis is saying, you don't have the information. A deer hit, as Dennis was talking about, but Dave, we're talking about before, if you hit a deer, you're going to have a truck deductible. So, but again, it's still the better option. So, but it's, like I said, if you guys have any questions, is there anything?
Yeah, I got one more thing I want to talk about. I'm going to throw you a little bit of curveball.
Okay.
Holiday season,
Yep.
Unfortunately, some folks may enjoy a little bit of holiday cheer and get out and drive. So that puts us at peril as a trucking company. We're going to have folks out running. I want to talk just briefly about what to expect if you're in a catastrophic situation. And I hope and pray that none of you ever find yourselves in this situation and have to put yourself through this mindset. But and we'll use the example that a drunk driver hits us. There's some significant injury involved. You know, what can a driver expect on the scene? Who's going to call them? What are they going to have to do? You know, and don't take too long with that, but just, you know, just give us a quick rundown of kind of, you know, you're in charge of the injury portion of it, what to expect from your point of view.
So anytime you're in an accident like that and there's injuries, we always want you to call safety. We need them to know, because then they're going to call one of us. We're on call 24/7. If we're not in the office, somebody that week is on call. They will contact us to let us know that there's an injury accident, you know, severe or not severe. They're going to call us. If somebody's transported, we're going to send an adjuster out. We're going to locate an adjuster that's actually in the area where you are located. We will send them out. And if it's a really bad accident, if it's very severe, you know, life-threatening injuries or anything, more than likely we will get our local defense counsel involved as well, just to oversee. He kind of looks over everything, keeps track of everything, makes sure everything's happening as it should be. So you would always get a call from an adjuster at least, and depending on how severe it is, you could get a call from a defense counsel. We always let you know. If anybody's involved, we let you know, so you know that it's okay to talk to those people. So you're not talking to somebody you don't know who they are, or what they're doing, or what their purpose is. So
depending on the circumstances of the accident, we may have the driver submit to a breath alcohol and post-accident drug test. You know, one of the other things, you know, I want to be fully transparent. We're going to ask for it. We're going to ask for your phone. All right. And that's not to pry into anything that you're doing, but one of the things that's going to be probably come up in discovery in any litigation situation is they want that data from the phone. All right. And typically in a catastrophic situation, we'll have defense counsel handle that. We won't put you in a situation where you're without your phone or can't communicate with, you know, friends and family or prime. We'll make sure that you're taken care of. But, you know, we want to be fully transparent, and that's going to be one of the expectations in a catastrophic accident situation.
another quick subject, if there is an injury, we're going to request a download of your truck. Whether you're at fault or you're not at fault, we're going to request that. So we get a lot of questions. Why is my truck getting downloaded? I didn't, it wasn't my fault. We're doing that to go ahead and get that picture of all that data up front. So if we need it 6 months to a year down the road, we already have it, and it's protecting you guys as well as Prime. We're preserving the evidence, and we're not taking a chance at not getting it. So if you ever get a request for a download, usually it will come from your fleet manager, sometimes Road Assist. But if you get that request, they'll send you to a shop, get it done, and hopefully get you in and out pretty quickly. So.
Kimmy, thank you so much for coming down. I know this is never an easy situation to talk about. Chad, I'm gonna put you on the clock and say Kimmy is over here on the side. If you have a question, step on over here and talk to her. So, but we've got about 3 more speakers that we need to get in pretty quick. So thanks a lot. Let's give her a round of applause.
Holiday season, security.
Holiday season.
Man, I'm looking for some free food. There's some people out there
looking for something for free.
Food.
You know, when us hardworking folks out here in the trucking industry, we work so hard throughout the year, even during the holidays, but thieves are working hard too. So,
Right.
Hey, Dennis, thank you. Dave, thank you. So real quick, a state of the industry, what's going on out there right now? Coming out of the third quarter, we saw about a 225% increase in cargo theft for the previous year. Into the fourth quarter, we're seeing those numbers increasing, and the forecast is saying it's going to go even greater in the first quarter of next year. What's the reason behind this? I mean, we're looking at a $30 billion a year cargo theft industry. Has anybody bought food lately? It's astronomical, the cost of food. And what's the number one thing they're stealing out there right now? Food. Why do I want to steal food? Simple, guys. I can take the food out of the back of the trailer and I can get rid of it and I make a profit all the time. Food's getting about 80 cents on the dollar return on investment if they steal it. That's pretty good money. So they're making a lot of money by stealing the food. But that leads us into another issue that we've got coming up. We want everybody here, and I know Steve and Robert, Operations probably going to like this, to go home and see their families for the holidays. We want you guys to go enjoy your families. You guys have worked hard all year long. Please get home, enjoy your families. But when you go home, before you go home, get with your fleet managers or get with security and find out where you need to secure your equipment at. Our trailers right now, our reefer trailers are going for $100,000 a piece, brand new. Man, we cannot afford to lose those, and you don't want to have the responsibility of trying to pay that thing back if it's your fault for parking it someplace. So a Walmart is not secure. A truck stop is not secure. We need to make sure that you guys are getting with your fleet managers and finding out where you want to drop those tractors and trailers when you go home. It's pretty simple. I mean, we got places all over the United States. We will work with you if there's one-off type situations, but please just take that extra 5 minutes, get a hold of your fleet managers and do this for whoever's going into holidays. Because I'll tell you right now, the cargo thieves are not going to stop during the holidays to take with their families. They're going to go out and find out where you're dropping your stuff at, and they're going to steal anything they can at this point in time. So if anybody got any questions. Okay.
Short, sweet, and to the point,
There you go,
right?
man.
All right, thank you, Bill. Let's give him a round of applause. All
Talked
right.
about winter weather before, and with winter weather, we got maintenance issues too that always arise.
We got to complete that triangle, Dave. I love it.
100%. So we got old Trent coming up here. Trent Ferris from our Road Assist department. Good morning, Trent. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, so winter's coming up. It's here in a lot of places. We've been pretty lucky here in Southwest Missouri so far. I think we've seen one, maybe two freezes, but it's cold in a lot of the part of the country right now. So if you guys aren't ready, you need to be. You need to get your stuff in the truck that you need to be prepared for this cold. I've got a lot to go over this morning, so I'm not going to cover too much more on that, but we do have a video I just filmed a couple of weeks ago. Please watch the video. If you're not sure if you're ready for this cold that's coming, it's going to be a cold winter out there. Check that video out and make sure you're ready. We've got a lot of videos on YouTube. So I film videos every few weeks, every 2-3 weeks, we film a couple of videos. And it's based on your ideas. So if you guys have an idea for a video, check it out on YouTube. If it's not on there yet, let Road Assist know, let us know. It'll get back to me. And if I can get it done, I'll get it made and put on there for you. Also we do a class every day over at the Campus Inn. I teach it every day at 1 p.m. It's required for all of our upgrades. So when you finish your training, you're going to come in and take this class. But I have found that every driver really needs to come in every now and then and refresh. And at the end of the day, we're never done with our training. We should always continue that training. It's a seasonal class, so right now we're talking a lot about winter issues, but here in the spring, guess what? We're not talking about winter anymore. We're going to be talking about heat issues, stuff that happens in the summertime. So it kind of changes around the year. Come in if you haven't done it in the spring, take it again in the springtime. I had an 18-year driver on Monday, 34 years in the industry. He's been driving out there for 34 years. And he came in and took my class. He was actually my trainer. He taught me how to drive a truck 18 years ago. So I was pretty intimidated, him coming in and taking my class. But at the end of it, I asked him, hey, did you learn anything? Did I teach you anything? And he said, yeah, I actually learned like 3 or 4 things. And they're really useful. I'm going to take these things out on the road and save time and money. So anyway, moving on, that's also something that is inspired by you all, this class. DAB, it came up in DAB. Somebody suggested that we do it, and we just kind of rolled with it. Everything in the class is driven by you all. It was ideas that you guys came up with. So again, if you have an idea, if you've taken the class and want me to cover something that we didn't do in the class, let me know. Reach out to me. One thing that I want to cover, I was walking around on the yard a couple of weeks ago doing filming and looking at trucks, and something caught my eye that kind of blew my mind a little bit. And I've got a couple of pictures that I want to put up on the screens here. I found a couple of tractors. Actually, I looked at about 5 trucks, and 2 of the 5 that I looked at, I found this. These rubber boots on the jump posts have to be on those jump posts. They've got to be back on that jump post. Otherwise, you've got a major fire threat. When that rubber boot is off of that jump post, you've got a live battery post that's exposed on the back of your cab. If something metal touches that post and then touches anything else that's metal anywhere around it, it's going to short out. It's going to catch a fire. It's going to cause a fire, and it can burn the truck down. in the 18 years I've been with Prime, I don't know how many trucks we burned down. It's been a lot. Put the next picture up. Those rubber boots should just go directly on that post. That's what those should look like. Please check the back of your truck and make sure those posts are on there. That's a big deal. Last thing I want to cover before I get off of here is we've got reps over there in the back of the room. They sit over in the back wall over there. If you have a question about any of our equipment, trailers, reefers, your tractor, whatever, we've got somebody in the back of the room over there that can answer your question more than likely. If they don't have an answer, they can figure it out and get back with you. So get with those guys back there if you have any questions, or holler at me if you have a question that they're not sure about. Does anyone have any questions about anything I didn't cover today or anything else in road assist maintenance world?
I got a quick question. So let's say I'm a driver. I don't know how to change a headlight in these new trucks. I wouldn't have a clue. Never took your pro maintenance class. What's that cost? If I was to take my truck into the shop and just change out a headlight, what would they charge me for that? Just a rough estimate.
You're killing me,
No, I
Dave.
put you on the spot. I put you on the spot.
I think it's $35 a TA, but guys, don't quote me on that. It's too much. $35, $20, whatever it is. It takes 5 minutes to change a headlight bulb. It's just basically the exact same as you do.
Plus the cost of a headlight bulb, right?
Yeah.
Which would be
exactly.
more than what you can get here, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
About 3 times more.
there you go. So yeah, take that pro maintenance class. I highly advise it because you can save all kinds of money, and they're always here to help you too. If you have questions out on the road, So, got one more question, Jamie.
I do. Which tank feeds the bunk heater?
So all fuel is in the main fuel tanks on the tractor. Everything that uses fuel is going to come out of those fuel tanks. We've got 3 things on your truck that burn fuel. The bunk heater is one of those things. So people don't realize that bunk heater is actually burning fuel. Also your APU engine and then of course your tractor engine, but your bunk heater is pulling fuel directly out of those fuel tanks. The reason that's probably being asked is people are questioning, how to treat their fuel when it gets cold out, put anti-gel in. Where do they put the anti-gel? You just put it directly in those fuel tanks. But as far as treating that fuel, the bunk heater, it is going to take longer. You're going to need to run that bunk heater a lot longer than you'd need to run anything else to treat the fuel lines going to the bunk heater. Cool.
All right. Any other questions for Travis? I'll let you off, man. Sorry about that. Thank you all. Spot. You did a good job, though. Who do you got?
All right, so, we have, Security Bill up here talking about the process of going home and making sure that you communicate with your fleet manager, even if it's a situation where you're just passing through. It's important that you have that open line of communication. So we brought some folks that are really boots on the ground and literally having those conversations this week. So I'm going to ask Jonathan Grice and Jared Young from our refrigerated department to come on up. These are 2 of our more experienced fleet managers. And like I said, this week, they are probably having this conversation literally every other phone call about what the plan is going home. Really important what the plan is coming out too. So if you guys take a few minutes and talk about some of those conversations and some of the information that you're giving to your drivers.
Sure. First of all, thanks all you guys for working over the holidays if you are. If not, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. So in regards to our conversations we have with our drivers as they start to go into home time, first and foremost, if you guys get unloaded on a delivery, of course, we want to make sure we get that trailer to a customer and get it dropped off. Some scenarios, sales will allow us to keep that trailer. We just got to make sure we stay attached to it, have it locked up, those types of situations. But we need to make sure we get that cleared through sales. Other than that, we just need to make sure we have a lot of communication in regards to PTAs, honoring PTAs. That way we can know when to count on you to come back out, start picking up freight again.
Well, and I would say making sure that when we're dropping that equipment, we're dropping it in great condition. A customer can't load a trailer if it's out of service. So we got to make sure we get that washout done, inspect the chute. That's a big thing right now. Big push on chutes. Quality of chute, making sure it's connected front to the back, nothing's obstructing at the bulkhead, and then we're not missing any rivets along the way. So make sure when we drop that equipment, we're dropping it in good condition, full of fuel, washed out, chute that's ready to go. And when we're communicating with our fleet manager, be honest about how long you're going to plan to stay home. If you're going home for 2 days, let's honor that PTA. If you're a team, let's make sure we have a plan in place for getting that co-driver home, making sure we're communicating with them and your fleet manager on when you're both going to be available to come back to work.
You know, Jared, you hit on one thing that I was actually going to bring up. So a teaming situation or a training situation where maybe co-driver wants to go home or trainer wants to go home or whatever combination, kind of talk about that process. Does the training still get paid? You know, what's the pickup process like? You know, well, what's you guys' experience with that, especially during the holiday season?
Well, to answer that question in regards to trainees, that's obviously the trainees and trainers need to be having those conversations about who wants to be where and for how long prior to. And from a trainee's pay perspective, if you're available for dispatch, you got to get with your fleet manager, let us know. Because if your trainer decides to go home for a week, 10 days, whatever it may be, but you're available, we want to try to pair you up with somebody else first and foremost. If that's not an option, we will continue paying you, but we want to get you to work beforehand if we can.
You know, and another thing, you know, Jerry, you touched on this too. Talk about how important it is to honor that PTA on the back end. You know, Thursday we go eat, maybe we're not feeling good, maybe we just don't feel like working, and we told you we're going to be out Friday, and we're just not feeling it. We're not ready to go. Talk about the challenges and the disruption of the system that does when, you know, we're committed a truck or 2 or 10 to be ready to go at, you know, 7 a.m. on Friday morning, but 6:45 we get that call that we're not going to be ready to go.
Well, anytime we're approaching a holiday, the freight, and I'm sure you guys have all felt this, the freight situation becomes very dynamic. That week before you go home, it's really tight. And then as everyone's coming off the road, there tends to be a flood of freight available. That's how it feels to you guys out there. Well, from our sales perspective and from the fleet manager perspective, we're trying to cover as much customer volume as we can. And so we're relying on the PTA that you give us to be able to plan, to tell our customers what we're going to be able to offer them in terms of trucks and trailers and things like that. And we're relying on that to be able to service them at the level that they're expecting from a carrier of prime stature.
You know, and lastly, you know, we'll talk about this. You know, there's always a delicate balance between, do I want to go home? Do I want to stay out and make money? You know, we don't ever want to rob a driver of time with their family. That's time that they're never, ever going to get back. Your kids are only young once. You're only young once. So that's a time that we always want drivers to be able to experience. But as independent contractors and true business owners, really your business only has 2 states. You know, you know, home time is kind of a misnomer. You got 2 states. Either your business is open or closed. Either you're generating revenue today or you're not. So, you know, let's talk about that delicate balance between staying out, going home, especially as it pertains to about a month from now, we're going to be doing this all over again for the big one. So just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, financial preparedness around the holidays is very, very important. And honestly, it's imperative for your businesses. You guys have probably heard the term emergency funds before. If you don't have one, I strongly suggest you do get one started. If you guys start to really think about it, your overall fixed costs are anywhere between $150 and $200 per day. So whenever you're planning time off, stuff like that, you have to kind of factor that in on how many days can I afford to take off versus what I have in reserve. So emergency fund, you can put those X amount of dollars in there every single week. You can offset however much time you want, but keep in mind the fixed costs don't stop when you're off.
Well, the fixed costs don't stop, and neither do your expenses at home. You know, if you're planning to take a week off and you're figuring $200 a day, well, that's going to cover your truck. That's not going to put food on the table, keep the lights on, do those things. And so financial preparedness and understanding that delicate balance of what you can afford to take off and what you shouldn't take off is vitally important, especially as you move through this really busy time around the holidays where freight demand is really spiked. Well, we're going to move into that first quarter. And the last thing you want to do is start that first quarter behind the 8 ball with a negative balance. And so prepare now for that time off and be honest with yourself and your family about what you can and can't do. And just know when you're going to be out there and available and try to make yourself as efficient as possible while you're out there.
I'd like to put one little safety plug in there too. If you guys are CPAP users, make sure you're using them while you're off, because nothing's worse than whenever you come back and then we have to shut you down again.
You know, you're so intuitive. That was going to be my last question to you, man. It's like these fleet managers know what they're doing. Thank you guys so much. I know Friday before a holiday is the worst time to ask you guys to come down here and spend an hour down here. But thank you so much for coming and investing your time. And thank you guys too for what you do. I know this time of year, your job is not easy at all. I've sat in that seat. It's probably the hardest time of year over the next month. So, you know, one, I'm praying for you guys as we go into this holiday season. But thank you for what you do and make sure we get these drivers taken care of.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
You know, I can't emphasize enough that the communication between you and your fleet manager is probably the most important conversations that you're going to have to make your business successful. We scour the social media groups from time to time, and I see these questions that come out there, and I just caution folks, please don't crowdsource facts. We've got talented folks like Jared and Jonathan that are paid to answer those questions for you, that are paid to help you navigate those situations. Jared's probably been doing this about 18 years. Jonathan just celebrated a service anniversary. I think his is 13. These are experienced folks. They know what they're doing. Please call them. Please ask them. Please make them earn that money that they make and helping you navigate your business. So
Great point right there. You're right on. Spot on.
all right.
What do we
So
got?
hey, we're coming down to the end. I just want to, again, before we start to disperse in all parts of the world for the holiday season, I just want to, again, wish you guys happy Thanksgiving. I'm so thankful, one, to work at a fantastic company, to work with fantastic people, and to be able to serve, you fantastic drivers. Thank you guys so much for what you do. Along those same lines, we always have to open our hearts and open our minds. We all have on red today. There are folks that are deployed all across the world and even domestically that they're not going to be with their family for Thanksgiving because they're helping defend our freedom. So we always, on Fridays, we wear red, RED, remember everyone deployed. So if you are a veteran of the armed services and you serve this country, if you would give us just the opportunity to honor you by standing. We thank you so much for the sacrifices that you make and also the sacrifices that your families make. If you were ever deployed, there was probably a time where you missed a birthday, you missed a Christmas, you missed a Thanksgiving, but you were out being a hero for all of us. So, speaking of heroes, I'll ask another hero to come on up. This is my guy. This is Steve Wucke. He's the Vice President of Sales and Marketing.
Thank you, Dennis.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
Thank you. I might stop by. I know you're a good cook. You got plenty of food, right?
Man, we got plenty of food to go around. Come
Thank
on
you.
by.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm far from a hero, but I am interested in what you all are doing every day. I'm in sales like you all are in sales, and what I do is paled in comparison to what you do every day. Our customers award volume and allow us to move rates based off of the service that you all provide to us and for us, and we thank you for that. It's just an integral part of us being able to maintain rate structure and volumes. It's tough out there. You all see it. You read the news. You got internet telling you, please be depressed because we're getting killed. Well, look, we're not. We're not. It's a tough environment. That's true. But we're doing just fine. We're looking at the competition, not at what the newspapers are telling us. And the competition's really struggling. So this cycle is going to work through it very quickly here in the next couple of months. So you just stay out there, operate safe, pick them up on time, deliver them on time, work with your fleet manager. These guys are brilliant. They could run companies. They could be president of small trucking companies. Jared and Jonathan, and we've got another 40 of them over there. They're brilliant people. They're interested in your success. They're your business partner. They're more than just a fleet manager. They're going to work with you. They're going to try to answer your questions. They're going to try to accommodate your needs. Now, as an owner, operator, independent businessman, you should listen to what they're saying. You need to try to build up some funds so when you take time off, it's not too painful. Junior probably does that very well in his fleet. Junior, how many trucks you running now? 5? Good job. We appreciate you. You give us great service. Thanks for that. You know, there's good and bad in this business, and there's some low-hanging fruit that can make us all better. So I'm not going to get up here and preach, but I am going to say one more time, man, it rubs me the wrong way when we get penalized for you all not buckling your seat belts. I mean, this is utterly ridiculous. You know, if you have a crash, you're going to survive 2 times more with your seat belt fastened than without it. Double your odds of being safe. And I know, here's what you're saying. I know what y'all are saying. I'm not going to have an accident. Well, let me tell you, the highways in the United States are covered with drivers that said that very thing. And they didn't make it because they didn't have their seatbelt on. This is serious business. This is safety. As a professional driver, you need to buckle up and do it the right way, okay? I'm just asking. I love you. I love what you do. Come on, let's do it the right way. Let's make sure you get home to see your family and your loved ones. And I know, again, you don't think you're going to have an accident. I don't want you to have an accident. That's your job, not to have an accident. So please be safe. I want to thank all of you new folks that chose our company. We try to do things the right way. We're far from perfect, but every day we try to get it a little bit better. And all these meetings and all the input that you give us make us better. So please keep giving us the good and the bad of how we're doing things, all right? We need that to accomplish the objective, which is to be the best carrier out there, the safest carrier out there. And we got a good lead on second place, believe me. Appreciate very much what you do. I'd like to invite Robert Lowe, the owner of our company, who started this thing a few years ago. I want to wish you all a very happy and thankful Thanksgiving. And if you get home, enjoy your family. If you choose to run for us and our customers during Thanksgiving, really appreciate that. You know, it's funny that our customers really expect their product to still get to the store. They still need that shelf space. So if you choose to run, thank you. We'll work hard to keep you busy while you're out there. Thank you, Robert. The floor is yours, man.
Man, typical salesman. I mean, he just keeps on talking.
I'm selling safety.
Brianne's about done plugging and just goes silent.
She's done that before.
But she showed some mercy. You know, talking about Steve, he said it's not a hero. Well, I tell you what, he does a heroic job out here representing this company and making sales. He's been gone all week. Late nights, early morning, breakfast, lunches, and dinners with customers. I hope he's not drinking too many Bloody Marys for breakfast, but I suspect he might if he was tempted.
Only if the things are different.
But you know, he's one heck of a sales guy, and we have, you know, 22 others out there that are doing a heck of a job. Junior, 5 trucks now, huh?
Yes.
Man, you're building a fleet. Okay, now you got to give me a job when you're up here, the king of the world. Junior, you know, we talk about referrals, and we appreciate you all referring good people you know they're trustworthy, they're good, honest, hardworking folks. We really appreciate your referrals. Now, how much money did you make last year? I mean, I don't mean to put you on the spot or disclose top secret information, but I know you do well.
I don't really know because I don't really look at that stuff. I just, you know.
You just rack it and stack it and go on.
I guess you can say that. Yeah. But, you know, I'm just doing my job, trying to get, you know, show people, you know, what the company's about and what I do over here. And, you know, I don't look at those numbers though.
Okay. Well, I respect that answer. Let me tell you, folks, it choke a horse. He does good just on his referrals, you know, plus what he does trucking. So he's a heck of a guy. I'm very proud of him, proud to be associated with him. We have many others like him. He may be, you know, the lead in the pack right now, but Junior, watch out. Some of these folks are gaining on you. You're gonna have to keep it up. You don't get tired. Don't let up. I want to join Dennis and Steve and the other speakers on wishing you all a great Thanksgiving. Like Steve said, if you want to get home, I hope you get home. If you want to spend an extra day or two, that's your right as an independent contractor. Now, we'd like to have you out there on the road, and our customers like to have you out there moving that freight. But we understand, we're hard charging truckers, but we have hearts too, and we have families too. And you all deserve to have that family time. You make enough sacrifices, so these holidays, I hope that you can enjoy them. Get your equipment secured. Work with us on that. We don't need nothing stolen. But again, I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Folks, it's still a fight. I mean, it's war every day, right? Steve's been out there this week doing the battle. Hopefully he's got some good news to report to me today on some additional low count here and there, maybe a little bit on the rate side. We always appreciate that. But folks, rest assured, we have a lot of smart folks. They're working hard, and we are winning this battle. We know what our competitors are doing. You probably know too from talking to other drivers out there in the truck stops. We haven't had a little bit more than we'd like to, for sure. But we have got freight to run to, and good high dollar freight to run to. And when you think about the way the numbers work, and we have people crunching these numbers all the time, our drivers' earnings are up. Our drivers' earnings are up. Our team drivers especially, not quite as good as they were last year, but they're north of a pretty good number. And so we're really proud, and we're going to maintain that, thankfully, to your service. Again, the sacrifices you make, the service you provide our customers, delivering them on time and safely over yonder. And that's what it's all about. You all do a great job. So I wish you well. I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. God bless each of you, and please be safe.